Tonight, in one of the heaviest bombardments since October 8th, Hezbollah missiles striking northern Israel. More than 100 rockets fired, many of them intercepted, exploding in the sky above. And overnight, Israel carrying out hundreds of strikes inside Lebanon, hitting this building that allegedly belongs to Hezbollah. The Lebanon-based group today saying they are entering, quote, an open-ended battle of reckoning.
As we feared, all-out war has broken out in the Middle East as Israel bombards Lebanon with airstrikes and Hezbollah returns fire with hundreds of rockets. The overwhelming amount of damage has no doubt been seen in Lebanon. The Israeli military says its forces struck more than 300 targets inside Lebanon, and the death toll keeps going up. Lebanon's health ministry has raised the death toll to 492, including 35 children, as well as 1,645 people injured in the Israeli attacks. That makes today Lebanon's deadliest day of conflict since 2006. The health minister said convoys of vehicles evacuating people from the areas under fire had been targeted, as had 2 ambulances, a fire truck, and a medical center. 2 first responders were killed, he added, and thousands of families have been displaced from targeted areas. On Friday, an airstrike over Beirut also killed at least 50 people, including both Hezbollah fighters and civilians, including children. In a televised speech today, Netanyahu claimed Israel's war is not against civilians. Take a look.
I have a message for the people of Lebanon. Israel's war is not with you. It's with Hezbollah. For too long, Hezbollah has been using you as human shields. It placed rockets in your living rooms and missiles in your garage. Those rockets and missiles are aimed directly at our cities, directly at our citizens. To defend our people against Hezbollah strikes, we must take out those weapons. Now, starting this morning, the IDF has warned you to get out of harm's way. I urge you, take this warning seriously. Don't let Hezbollah endanger your lives and the lives of your loved ones. Don't let Hezbollah endanger Lebanon. Please, get out of harm's way now. Once our operation is finished, you can come back safely to your homes.
He also told Israelis to expect complicated days. Over the weekend, as tensions were heating up, Axios reported an incredible tidbit about Israel's alleged strategy here. Israeli officials said their increasing attacks against Hezbollah are not intended to lead to war, but are an attempt to reach de-escalation through escalation. They allegedly believe putting more pressure on Hezbollah could push them to agree to a diplomatic deal, and that would return citizens to northern Israel and southern Lebanon. US officials told Axios they recognize Israel's rationale and agree with it, but stress this is an extremely difficult calibration that could easily go out of control and lead to an all-out war. Yes, it seems like those fears have unsurprisingly already come to fruition. Hezbollah's leadership said in a statement Monday it was targeting dozens of rockets at an Israeli military post in northern Israel. Residents in the city of Nazareth told NPR it was a scary night into early Monday morning with rockets and interceptions over us all night. At least 2 Israelis have been injured, according to paramedics. Meanwhile, the US says they're doing everything they can to avoid a broader war, but their actions would, of course, suggest otherwise. It was announced today that the US is sending additional troops to the Middle East in response to the escalation of violence between Israel and Hezbollah. The Pentagon wouldn't say how many more forces were being sent, but we already have 40,000 troops in the region. Now, Cenk, de-escalation through escalation, does that make sense to you?
It's one of the dumbest, most Orwellian things I have ever heard any government official say in my lifetime. If the North Koreans said we're doing de-escalation through escalation, we'd make fun of it for the rest of time, and we should in this case as well. What that means is, thank you very much, we appreciate you admitting that you are starting the war. Because that's an Israeli official saying, yes, we're doing escalation. But that will lead to de-escalation. I don't know how much he laughed afterwards And I don't know how much he laughed after seeing the 35 children dead and over 400 people slaughtered as usual by Israel. So of course the Israelis have their usual standard excuses. Oh, they've been firing rockets for 11 months. How many of them landed? One. And look, there might have been some that landed and caused minor injuries, but overall they are enormously ineffectual. So, okay, but if they, oh my God, you were so concerned as you had to go to war to prevent it, why didn't you do 11 months ago, 10 months ago, 9 months ago? No, you chose to escalate and your official just admitted it. And there's no question about it. A little bit later in the program, we're gonna do another story about a former CIA director and Secretary of Defense, Leon Panetta, as establishment as it gets, saying Israel is doing the terrorism. That is an astounding thing for a US official to say, and I think he speaks for a lot more people. Hang around for that story as well. But now let me give you more from the American officials so you understand what they actually think. So Jordan read you the statement about, we technically agree with Israel's rationale. Do we really have to say this? They say, as the people that are in charge, the politicians go, yes, the check cleared from AIPAC. Say it, say you agree with Israel. Yes, sorry, yes, we agree with Israel. That's why they send people like Leon Panetta, who's not in the government anymore, to say, of course Israel's the one starting the war. But here you can see it clearly in their own statements that they put out because they can't help it, because it's so obvious that Israel is starting this giant war in the Middle East and they want us to fight it. So here's a US official quoted by Axios. One of the key messages that we want to keep a path to open to a diplomatic resolution and therefore don't want the Israelis to take steps that will close such a path. In other words, they're closing the path to peace by bombing the hell out of Lebanon. Okay, if it's not clear enough, more from Axios. The US made clear to Israel that such a war wouldn't help Israel achieve its goal of returning tens of thousands of displaced Israelis to their homes on the border with Lebanon. So which one is it? Do you agree with their insane, ludicrous, humiliating rationale of de-escalation through escalation? You think that rationale is good? Or do you say that it would not achieve their goals? It's obvious that officially we agree with Israel because we are not allowed to disagree with Israel. But unofficially, the minute you ask him any question, they're like, of course it's Israel, are you guys nuts? Hezbollah's been doing the same ineffectual bombing for the last 11 months, and now Israel's obliterating them. They're basically invading Lebanon. But Lebanon's not their main target, guys, Iran is. But Iran is a giant war. Israel cannot fight by itself. That's why they want us to do it. And conveniently, our corrupt politicians have brought a giant part of our fleet right next to Iran so that Hezbollah or Hamas or the Houthis or Iran can bomb one of our ships, kill a bunch of our service members so we can say, oh, that's it, we had to do it. Come on, obliterate Iran, everybody pay for it. Give us another $1 trillion. Give it over, okay? That's what they're gonna do. Here, I got more quotes from US officials. They say that they're focused on reaching, I'm quoting Axios again, focused on reaching an understanding with Israeli leaders about the escalation dial. You get it? So they're like, we have to say that they're right and the other guys are the bad guy terrorists, but there's an escalation dial and it's been turned up to 11 by Israel. That's why we're talking to their leaders. Will you stop attacking every goddamn neighbor? And Israel goes, yeah, what are you gonna do about it? Send me another check? Yeah, dumbass. Go home. I'll give you your next order, okay? When it's time. So you start a check, okay? Remember, because we normally give Israel $4 billion a year, but when they slaughtered 40,000 Palestinians in Gaza and obliterated the entire place, we said $4 billion. No, this time we're gonna send you 26 billion. That's US politicians saying, nice job, way to murder all those Palestinians. Oh my God, we're gonna send you so much more money. Now imagine how much money we're gonna send them when they start slaughtering that level of people in Lebanon, let alone a much larger number in Iran. Is it gonna be contained at 26? No, the next one will probably be $260 billion. And I'm not at all exaggerating, that is a massive understatement because in Iraq and Afghanistan, we spent over at least at a bare minimum $2 trillion. Iran is 4 times the size of Iraq. One last one. McGurk, one of the top US officials here, who has to every once in a while go and humiliate himself publicly and go, Israel is right, attacking all your neighbors is de-escalation. Can I please leave? This is, every one of the US officials now looks like a hostage video when they were doing their press conferences. But he said, quote, we have disagreements with the Israelis on tactics and how you measure escalation risk. It is a very concerning situation. Combined with Panetta's comments, it is inescapable. American officials are saying we're not allowed to disagree publicly, but they're starting the war and they're gonna make us fight it. And there's no question about it. The only people left are like the Israeli zealots. Like, no, everything Israel does is great. Of course, America should pay for it and should fight their wars for a special ally, moral army. Well, we just killed another 400 some odd people, another 35 children. If Hezbollah kills 35 children, by the way, Hamas killed 34 on October 7th, and in return, 41,000 Palestinians killed, et cetera, for 34 kids. October 7th, 34 poor Israeli kids slaughtered by Hamas. Hate it, can't stand it, awful, right? 34, 35 killed just today in Lebanon. America doesn't care. The world cares, but there's nothing you can do. And America goes, you need another check? You need another check? Okay, we know you're starting it. We know you're the one escalating, but no, okay, yeah, whatever you need, sir. The corruption in America is the cancer of the world. It forces us to let the oil companies do as much destruction to this planet as possible. Drug companies literally kill Americans, 68,000 Americans, health insurance companies and drug companies, because we're the only civilized, only developed nation that doesn't have universal health care. We just let people die in order for donors to make more money. And now Israel says, you are to let me kill as many human beings as possible, start as many wars as possible, and you're to shut up about it and send me more money. And right now, that's what we're doing. If you don't realize that's what's happening, you're just ignorant. And you will pay for this war. There's no question about it. They will take a giant number out of your check and go, no, that's not gonna help you with your wages. It's not gonna help your kids or get food. It's not gonna help you with anything. That's set aside for Israel to start more wars in the Middle East. 100% reality. Jordan.
It's always interesting to see Netanyahu post these videos and release these statements in English, because he's not just speaking to people who speak English in Israel, he's speaking to people in Congress who are going to do his bidding. So it's always fascinating to see him release a video in English. And in this case, we have an example of what this type of language leads to. Just, there's so many parallels. We're almost at the 1 year mark of October 7th. And you see the same language, the same deceitful tactics to justify a bombing campaign, a barbaric bombing campaign. It's the same things. Human shields, they're hiding weapons in your home. Please evacuate the area. This isn't against civilians. And already we're seeing a civilian death toll. Day one. So the opportunity, if US officials in the Biden administration cared, would be to stop it now. Use the leverage you know you have. Stop it now. Biden and his team over the past 72 hours talked to media about how his number 1 priority in his remaining days in office is to guarantee a ceasefire. How is this going to help? How is allowing this to continue to send weapons, aid, munitions, whatever Netanyahu wants, to not use an ounce of leverage that you have over him? How is that in line with your number 1 priority? We've seen these types of comments from him and his administration for almost a year now. And what has that amounted to? They're moving to Lebanon in part because they run out of things to bomb in Gaza. That's why they expanded their campaign to a much larger extent in the West Bank. It's about a few things: expanding their control in that region and their influence in that region, but also preserving Netanyahu's position as prime minister. The longer a war rages, the longer he's insulated from outside threats. It keeps his coalition together, keeps his government together. He's not subject to an ouster from his position or his government falling apart. So people have to die because of his thirst for power.
Yeah, so a couple of other clarifying things here. So to Jordan's point, if this was Biden's top priority to stop the war? Well, he didn't. So Joe Biden, by his own admission then, is a historic failure. Total, utter failure. And this is not complicated, guys. If you want to stop the war, you use your leverage. Whatever the leverage might happen to be in any negotiation. What's our leverage here? This is also obvious, the 26 billion we're sending. If you say, hey, if you do the thing that I don't want you to do, which is escalation, which every official, as I just read you, is making clear, yeah, Israel's escalating. If you do that, I will not send you the money. It is the least complicated thing on earth. And why is he not using his leverage? Also, not at all complicated. If you're like still in La La Land because you watch MSNBC and you're like, well, he's such a great, empathetic, sweet man. And he's just a natural Zionist. And he just believes that Israel should be able to invade and attack and occupy millions of people anytime that he wants because he's such a, ideology comes from right here, Zionism, okay? No, it comes from over $11 million in checks. Honestly, if you don't understand that, you're kind of an idiot. And if you're national media and you just took that personally, good, I meant it personally. How dumb can you be that you never write in articles why Joe Biden will not use his leverage to get to his #1 priority? That never occurred to you? It's never been in a single article in mainstream media. It never occurred to you that it might be the $11 million or the $5 million they gave to Kamala Harris or the $100 million they're spending on this cycle? You're like, well, what do you say? Let's have a debate. Is it that he loves Zionism or is it he loves exploding pagers? Why do you think they're doing it? Somebody says, could it be the money, the $100 million they're spending in this election? Get out of here, you radical. We found an anti-Semite. We found an anti-Semite. Come on. If they really believe this, every reporter in Washington is at the very bottom. It's like the 1% on IQ scale. Dumbest people in the whole country. I challenge you, I challenge any reporter in Washington, D.C., have a debate with me and prove to me that the politicians don't care about the hundreds of millions of dollars that AIPAC is giving them. That's just so irrelevant to them. They're just all natural born Zionists. God, you sound so unbelievably stupid. Okay, yeah, now I've said my piece on that. Last things here. Guys, the second reason why the pager explosions, as I told you, was that's as soon as that happened, I came on here and said we're going to war. That's Israel's declaration of war. And then what followed afterwards? The leader of Hezbollah comes out and goes, that was, quote, an unprecedented and historic attack. It crosses all red lines and we'll be going to war. That was their intent. That is exactly what wound up being the reaction of Hezbollah. And every security expert that the US had says, well now, and I read you the quotes from CNN and all the other sources that say, yes, now Hezbollah and Iran will have no choice but to retaliate. Otherwise, they're humiliated to their domestic audience, cannot retain power, etc. Besides which, what if somebody slaps you across the face, 10 times, 1,000 times? What do you think a normal human being is going to do? I know Israel's allowed to kill 460 people in Lebanon, 35 children, because they're the moral army. But of course, if a Hezbollah fires back, terrorists! Why? They're Muslims. Muslims are always terrorists, and Israel's always the moral ones. It doesn't matter that Israel kills on a scale so much greater than any of their Muslim enemies, like 40 times Hamas. And the people in media here, again, either the dumbest people on the entire planet or the most biased go, oh, Israel has killed 40 times the civilians of Hamas. That is why Hamas is terrorist and Israel is the moral army. I mean, we're so sick of these lies. Last thing, guys, what Israel, speaking of lies, I saw it on the Piers Morgan show. I was kind of surprised by it when I heard an Israeli official making this point, and now they're doing it over and over again. And I realized that was the beginning of this propaganda campaign. They're trying to decouple Hezbollah and Hamas and Gaza. Wait a minute, I thought you guys all were saying they were all funded by Iran, they're all connected. And they said, no, Hezbollah is not firing the rockets because of the occupation and to support Gaza and to get Israel to stop bombing Gaza. Hezbollah just hates Jews for no reason at all, not connected to the fact that there's 5.5 million people imprisoned in open camps by the Israelis. And not because Israel just destroyed 70% of the buildings in Gaza and displaced 95% of the people there. Not because of that. Hezbollah is just doing it randomly because they're raging anti-Semites, and that's why we're allowed to kill and murder all of them, and we're the moral army and they're the terrorists. Okay, if you believe that, you're, again, either enormously biased or you work in mainstream media and you're dumb as a rock.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.